Hey, what's up, y'all? It's Glow Navy Nuxosa here, and I am back. I apologize for not being on as much and being out of commission. I've been working part time, so I haven't really been able to play as much and get as much videos. But I am back, and today I have a video for you guys. I'm going to be showing you guys the best and my most favorite high ground retakes for Chapter 2, Season 4 in Fortnite. So let's get it. Alright, guys, so the reason why I like this and why I think this is one of my best retakes is because it basically gives you, you basically choose which path you want to take depending on where your opponent is above you, basically. So it always, like, you could always basically go around them no matter what. You could always basically retake with this retake is what I'm trying to say. Another thing is this retake is also really, really defensive, so you're always covered in usually all the angles where height is being held. So it basically makes it so it's super hard for them to hit you as you're using it, and it's usually really, really quick, and it gets you height quick, so you could instantly have the height back and, have the advantage on being able to shoot down below and controlling the fight again. So the way it starts is you always start out with the double ramp method. So you're going to be starting out with a double ramp right this, and then always cone. So basically, once you get to this position right here, you could either choose to go right, left, forward, or backwards. And basically, the reason why I love this so much is because you're keeping your opponent puzzled the whole time because you keep switching angles. So you're basically switching angles until you have an angle to where you know your opponent is in a certain area where you could basically go opposite side of him and then crank up and block him so that way he can't block you, if that makes any sense. So you basically at the whole entire time you're making your opponent not be able to hit you because you're covering yourself so well, and at the same time you're switching direction, so you're basically tricking your opponent, and it makes it hard for them to, be able to figure out which way you're actually going because you have so many different. If you just keep doing this method, you have so many different routes that they can't really keep track of which route you're gonna take. So by the player himself learning these high ground retakes, like the way I've learned it or taught myself, because I kind of basically taught myself this retake. Um, I just basically have learned to just really hear like the footsteps of where the opponent is behind me, and I could tell if they're behind me on my right side, behind me on my left side, and basically the side that they're on, I try to go against. So like if they're on my right side, I'm gonna go to my left side, and if they're on my left side, I'm gonna go to my right side. So, like I said before, you basically always want to start with the double ramp method, and you could basically switch once you get to your cones, you could switch angles to wherever you want to go. So now I'm going to show you once you take an angle how you crank up basically to take height basically. Because once you get to the cones is when you start to make the what's it called, the retakes, or just to switch angles. So it's either you're switching angles or you're switching an angle to take the retake. If you understand what I'm trying to say. So basically, if you wanted to go straight, you just open it and then do 390s back to back basically, and it looks something like this basically. So you try to usually cone your opponent behind if they're behind you, or if not, you usually catch them off guard, and that triple 90 can usually get them ahead. So usually the only time I use this method if I know they're behind me and they're not as high, because usually if they're like right here, you could still crank and turn it around them before they get to you, if you see what I mean right here. So it's okay if they're not that high, but if they're really high above you, then I wouldn't recommend going that. I would just recommend switching an angle. So now I'm going to show you going to the right side. Now if I want to go to the right side, you basically, that's how it looks on the outcome. Now I'm going to go slow motion for you. Now your opponent would be somewhere over here, let's say, like coming up. And then you would kind of turn and crank up. before they could even beat you, or anywhere near. Trust me, this is like a really hard crank. So like once you get the angle and you know they're not there, and you're on the opposite ankle, you just crank up, and you're basically above them. You basically turn back to their angle, so when they're coming up to you, you block them with your ramp. If that makes sense. So I'm gonna show you guys going to the slow-mo. So you basically want to start out, put your double ramps, put your cones, and then you put your walls. You hold your wall and you cover your right side, and then when you edit up, you're gonna put a ramp, and then you're also gonna put your walls, and you want to try to reach out all the way back here because you basically want to cover your back, and then you crank up, and as you're cranking up, you turn it back onto them, depending on where they are. Like basically, in my mind, I'm thinking the person is somewhere here in this position. And like you could hear your opponent where they are when you're cranking up. Like you could hear as you're below them which side they're going, so you can tell basically. So now basically I want to show you guys just the outcome of all the routes that you can take, full speed basically. So if we wanted to start out and let's say we wanted to go straight because we know they're right behind us. If they're right behind us and we wanted to just go straight up, it'd look like this. You open it up, and then crank. Turn it back, and you're basically above them. Now, if they were to turn right, and we wanted to go left, this is what it would look like. You open up left, block, and then you basically turn it back onto them. Now, if you knew that they're going to your left side, and you're going to go to the right, this is what it would look like full speed. Block, put your back wall, and just crank up. Basically how it looks. And then if you want to just basically switch directions over and over, this is what it would look. You would just be switching this way. Now if you wanted to go this way, you can go this way. And you basically just keep switching the angles on them, and it makes them just like really hard to keep a track of you. But I always try to keep them like this, basically. You could always like, basically in any point in time, you could always turtle, like just turtle up and just re-angle. And then crank, and you see what I'm saying? Like you could just switch the angles so quick, basically, and it makes your opponent really hard to keep a track of where you're going. But that's basically it. If you guys like this video, please give it a thumbs up. Make sure you guys go and try this new high ground retake. Go ahead and practice it. If you guys enjoyed it, make sure you comment below in the comments. Also, for upcoming videos, if you guys want to see anything like Fortnite, just comment down below what type of videos you guys want to be able to see, you know, what type of videos you want me to do, you know, reaction videos, vlogs. I mean, I'm talking anything. You guys give me below ideas of what you guys want me to do and watch. So, thank you guys. I'll see you guys on the next one.